We put out an offer for $3.5 trillion, and it has all of our legislative language, and in fact, 96% of Democrats in the House and the Senate support that number. We have 4% that would like something different. We have invited Senator Manchin or anyone else who wants to put forward their vision.
I wasn't trying to be the fly in the ointment at all. I've never been a liberal in any way, shape, or the form. There's no one who's ever thought I was.
Well, we're thinking a lot of things these days. Back to our top story, the congressional crisis averted. One of them. Okay, we're not out of the woods, folks. The government will be funded until December 3rd, a couple weeks before Christmas. But now there's a stalemate over the debt ceiling, the president's massive infrastructure plan. So BNC political contributor Tezlyn Figaro joins us this morning. We got to talk about this, Tezlyn. A lot to unpack. Good morning to you. Listen, the posturing. I want to start there, right? Everybody's blaming the other side. It's the finger pointing, that thing. What did lawmakers have to lose if the shutdown happened?
Oh, it was obviously a lot to lose. One, voter confidence. When you mix this in addition to infrastructure, all of the other things that have been disappointing voters, what I call voter depression, it was certainly more than just the money side of it, but also how do you continue to motivate your base just to stay in the game? When you look at what has been happening with Black voters and the disappointment with not passing the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act, the disappointment of not even knowing where we are yet with voting rights. And now with infrastructure, they could not afford to shut down the government and have yet another fumble the ball so early in the season.
It's like, what can they do right? It's like that boyfriend that you got to get rid of. You can't do anything right. You're not making my life better. So, I want to get to the heart of the matter, though. If paying the bills, not running out of money, is a good thing for this country, why is there such a debate? What's really at stake here?
Well, it's a lot at stake. One of the things that I want to point out that none of the networks have been covering it, inside the progressive movement, there is also infighting there. There is a movement by the People's Party called Force the Vote that is talking about really holding progressives accountable, particularly the squad, to do all of the things that they promised they would do. Susan Sarandon just did a protest at AOC's front door. A lot of folks, don't talk about that on the national media, but there is a huge movement inside on the left that is saying that if the squad does not do what it is that they said they're going to do as far as Medicare for all, then they will continue to lose their base as well. So what you're seeing, Sharon, not just the progressives or 90% of the Democrats that are pushing for the infrastructure bill because it's Joe Biden's plan. Also, progressives know that their integrity, their credibility is on the line, particularly Bernie Sanders. So you're seeing a lot of different quiet storms that have bubbled up to the top that is causing friction, both with both sides, obviously with Joe Manchin being what they would call an obstructionist at this point. But I wanted to bring that point to everybody's attention that there's a lot going on inside the movement as well. And so you're seeing all of those things trickle out as they move forward with who's going to push the line and hold the line when it comes to infrastructure.
So it's not as simple anymore saying, hey, Bernie, you didn't win. You did not win the presidency, so have a seat. He's up against it. You're saying the squad, no wiggle room. But let's talk more about Senator Manchin, because he's saying, look, I didn't lie to you. I've always told you who I am. The West Virginia senator says, listen, I'm only willing to go as high as $1.5 trillion. That's about $1 trillion or two short of what the Democrats say is their lowest number. What is his angle, and why was this magical number so secret for so long?
Yeah, yesterday he was very clear, and I know a lot of folks are upset at Joe Manchin. I am too. A lot of folks are, but he was very clear, like you said, Sharon. He said, I told Chuck in July that I only will go 1.5. Hey, I'm doing you a favor by doing that. He's never hid the fact that he was a conservative, leaning on the conservative side, or what people would say Republican light. So when President Joe Biden, you remember when he came out, a few months ago saying, oh, we have a deal, it's bipartisanship, we have a deal. this is where we always make a mistake. We come out, we oversell things, and we do not really look at the bigger picture and making sure that all of the bows are tied. And Manchin is saying, I'm being the same person that I always said that I was. And so now you have to look at, how do they move this forward? I did a training yesterday, Sharon, where I broke down what this is with Thanksgiving dinner. It's the turkey, which is the infrastructure, and then the sides, which is the reconciliation package. So progressives are saying we want the whole meal at the table, and Cori Bush went even further to say we want to make sure that Black people are at the table. And that's another thing that the media is not covering, that BNC has also been covering, to talk about where are Black people when we talk about this dinner that we're all expecting. So I really thought that Nancy Pelosi would bring the vote to the floor yesterday, because she usually does what she says she can do, what she's going to do. But you can see that that is not happening. And so this is going to further lose voter confidence. And hopefully they can get it done and not try to do reconciliation in the spring, but do them both at the same time before we get out of this year.
Yeah, I don't know how much Thanksgiving dinner breaking they're going to do around there, but as soon as you mentioned, I started thinking about greens, beans, potatoes. That's, I don't know why, but I just started running through my head. I couldn't help it, Tezlyn. My daughter sings it all the time. But yeah, there's all these different groups. One group, though, Tezlyn, impacted if the debt ceiling isn't raised, it's seniors, okay? My mother just moved in with me, okay? Nearly 50 million seniors could stop getting their checks, Social Security payments. So what else can you tell us about the biggest impacts here?
Oh, for sure. When we look at infrastructure, childcare, that's another thing. I'm glad that we showed the B-roll from what the Congresswoman Barbara Lee was talking about, and how that affects Black folks, and what that means, to be able to afford childcare, not just for single Black women who lead in the majority of head of the households, but also Black fathers as well, who take care of their children. When we look at infrastructure, and that's why I was using an analogy with Thanksgiving dinner, when we say we're going to bring jobs and we're going to allow, more opportunities for people to get jobs, well, what good is a job if I can't afford daycare, if I can't go to the job? I have been a single mom, and I understand what it means to not be able to accept the job because I can't afford daycare. My niece right now, Trinae, is going through the same thing with two small children and graduating college, and she needs to know, how am I able to afford childcare? So those are the things in the infrastructure, human infrastructure, that we're talking about, that not just will affect everybody, but Black people specifically. And there's a ton of things, as you know, Sharon, but that's one of the things that I really want to point out, because Black people's unemployment is still very low coming out of coronavirus.
Yeah, I'm not going to let you forget about us. That's exactly why this network was born. Thank you so much. You sure you don't want to go there? I got beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes.
Yeah,
go on, just one time.
I go there with you.
I can't help it. I just love you. Thank you, Tezlyn, so much. Straight shot, no chaser. We appreciate it. Have a good weekend.